Good evening, and how are you? I have some news for you today, a rather interesting news, and that is black students are 50% more likely to drop out of university, claims new report. So black students are 50% more likely to drop out of university, claims report. Now, I find this quite fascinating because if we look at the environmental factors where black boys in particular, although this report is for black females as well as black males, but in regard to black males, I think it's from they are 7 years old to about 11. This is in the UK. I can't really speak for America, but in the UK, black boys are brighter and more intelligent than the Asian and white counterpart from the ages of 7 to 11. Then when they reach about 12 years old, suddenly starts to curtail and they begin to start to lose this edge. Now I put it down to negative environment, rap music, etc. And cultural stereotype and living up to this bad boy image. The same way white boys now are affected, where white boys are sort of falling into this laddish culture, and so that has a sort of an effect on your working or studying environment. However, regarding this report, if I may be so bold as to read you the excuses that they've sort of find for this, and that is they argue that, where is it now? Yes, they argued that the report claims that the universities currently find it challenging. They find it challenging to respond to the structural, organizational, attitudinal, supposed to be attitude, culture, and financial issues. Right? So they never really gone into what do they mean structural. They're just using these keywords loosely, and organizational and cultural and financial situation. Now, whenever these academics are trying to hoodwink you, they always try to use language that has no real purpose. It's designed just like politicians using figures and datas. They do it to hoodwink you, so they have no real honesty in them. For instance, structural. What do they mean structural? That is quite loose and ambiguous. Attitude and culture. If you are born and bred in Britain and you are British, English, what do you mean cultural? What is so different about a black person's home environment to a white person's home environment? What is so different that you have to, discuss the cultural differences? I don't think eating different food is going to be an issue that's going to affect your education. I don't think going to church and worshiping God in a charismatic way is going to influence your education. So what do they mean cultural? Now, whenever they face a problem like this, they like to disguise, the real issue. Now, my loyal subscribers, my beautiful and intelligent subscribers, you know that I am not politically correct. I speak the truth for what it is. I don't believe in these liberal lies and telling people what they want to hear, and then in secret coming out with my true views. I'm not a hypocrite. Now, why don't this survey just come out with it and maybe argue that simply these black people, 50% who dropped out, could not keep the pace. It's as simple as that. They went for the, you know, maybe what do you call it, access, you know, A levels, ASs, and then they started to try to do a degree or an MA, and they realized that they couldn't cope with it. The workload became too much. You know, there's all these factors involved. My brother, he was doing politics and media at university, and he wanted to drop out. I can't remember what it was over, but he wanted to drop out. And I whipped his ass. I said, no, you're not dropping out. You're not dropping out. You're sticking to it. And my God, I would say to him, imagine when you graduate, the feeling you're going to have. Imagine that beautiful black cap on your beautiful black head. Imagine it. And I would instill these visualizations in him. Says, if you can see it, you can achieve it. And do you know something? Right, when he graduated, right after 3 years, and he was walking up, and it was very quiet, a very quiet ceremonial, and I shouted, "I'm proud of you," to which everybody laughed. And my brother said, when I said that, tears came out of his eyes. You know, I shouted, "I'm proud of you." Me being a rebel, you know, I was going to contain, you know, how proud I was of my young brother. So I shouted out, "I'm proud of you," you know. So even though I do have a political side to me, I have a gift for motivating people. That is a gift. My students, I've had students who've had drugs problems. I talk about white students who've had drugs problem. Their parents bring them to me, and I clean them up like that. That's a gift that you don't know about me. You know, they bring their kids here. They got drugs problem, or you know, they've been bullied at school, or they're the bullies. And you know something, right? I changed their lives. That is a gift I have that you never knew about, right? So I'm good at motivating people. Right, so at the end of the day, and that is regarding this issue, why don't people, you know, just admit that maybe they pulled out because they couldn't take the pace? The workload is too much. Not make it a race issue, a structural issue, because there are many black people out there, men and women, who are geniuses. Right, the 11-year-old black boy, I forget, I did a video on him, who rival Einstein. His IQ is more than Einstein. 11-year-old black boy. So this idea of using racism is nothing more than excuse, structural and cultural. The implication is there. Just admit at the end of the day they could not deal with the workload. If you commit to studying and you commit to a diary and a plan, you will succeed. But it's all about being disciplined. You can't be going out there partying. You can't be influenced by negative groups. You have to be positive and make your mind up that you are going to achieve this no matter what, and set time, always set apart time where you can do it. Don't just study and then you come home and you leave it. What you put in is what you get out. What you put in is what you get out. If you only put 15 minutes of studying, that's all you will get out, is 15 minutes worth. If you put in quality, you'll get out quality. It's as simple as that. At the end of the day, they couldn't keep up with the pace. There's nothing cultural or structural or attitude involved. When you are a black student at university, the mere fact you've reached there, no teachers is going to have no preconceived idea of you, because the mere fact you've reached there, it shows that you had to overcome obstacles to be there. So they're not going to have no preconceived perception about you. It's simply they could not cope with the workload. It's as simple as that. You don't have to make it a complicated issue. That's a problem today. Everything is LGBT, everything is racism, everything is feminism, we live in a stupid age where people are not accountable for their own weaknesses or whatever, right? Stop blaming others and look at ourselves.